Alright, today's video is installing the gasket that goes behind the turbo in between the turbine and the downpipe. At one point this car got exhaust or whatever, and the previous owner didn't put one of these gaskets in there. So there's a flange that you'll see when I take off the exhaust bolted directly to the back of the turbo, and exhaust gases are just escaping there, and you can hear it. And you can see the all the soot that's getting thrown across the motor. So today we're going to be putting in a new one, and the old studs that the downpipe attaches to, there's one of them is stripped. So I'm going to go ahead and take off the whole downpipe, and the only connections at the back are at the Y where it splits into the dual exhaust. And it's going to be pretty much taking off the whole midsection of the exhaust. And I got to do that because to get room onto one of these studs, you have to take off the downpipe. There is no room to take it off. You could probably double nut method it and try to take it off, but to do it right, and so I lessen the chance of breaking the stud, I'm gonna just take off the downpipe so I have clear access to the studs, hopefully. So I don't know if you could see that gap where the light is. That's supposed to be a gasket that's holding everything together. Well, apparently you can see it's not, and you can see all the soot all right there. It'll be easier once I take off the downpipe to show you, but we're gonna start it up just so you can hear exactly what it sounds like. Yeah, that's not good for the motor or for the engine, because now it's throwing check engine lights in and all, thinking it's getting too much air. First thing I'm going to do is take off the O2 sensor before the cat, and then there's another one on the cat under the car. So I'm going to go ahead and take off this top one first. That's one. Second O2 sensors on the cat right there, and it goes up to that plug. Hopefully you can see it right there. Got some super long needle nose, and you got to grab it from the forward side of the car and pull it out. Hopefully I got that on camera. But yeah, you just pull it out, squeeze right there. Okay, now we're going to take off the flange bolts. They are 15mm nuts, and you're just going to have to use a setup of like deep 15s with a 4-inch extension and vice versa, and anything like that. So for this close one right here, that one you can just get with the normal 15, or I can, because when they were messing with this exhaust before, they put a couple of bigger nuts for his spacers, so this one I can just get with a shallow 15. Alright, the second one is on the back side. Like I said, this one is roughly I got a 16, not a 15. I'm gonna get the 15 right now, but deep 15 with like a 4-inch, 3 or 4-inch extension. Now with that, hopefully this downpipe comes at least off enough to where I can take off the studs. Alright, so I took the flange off. It normally sits up here on the turbo, but I'm sitting it down here on a jack. So once you got that, now you have access to your studs right here and right here. Now what I'm going to try to do is use these old exhaust studs and double them up so I can use a tightening one to unscrew the stud. Okay, so change of plans. I was trying this double nut method to take out the studs, but I was putting enough force on it to where it felt like it was going to start stripping the nut and or stud and get it stuck, and then I would have to take off the turbo and everything to fucking mess with it. Instead of doing that, I'm just going to do the gasket at the moment. I wanted to put the new studs in just as precautionary now because I have space to work on it, but these things are in there a lot tighter than I thought. Still threadable, so I'm gonna just put the new nuts from the new studs onto this, and it should clamp and hold fine. But we have access to the turbo, so you can see where the gasket would sit. Right in there. So I'm gonna grab the gasket and we'll install it. Alright, so here's the new donut gasket. This little inner lip sits inside the turbine housing, and then the bevel section goes against the downpipe. So it's going to insert like this. You might have to give it a little tap because this little ring on the inside might stick out on one side, so just grab a mallet, a soft head mallet, and go ahead and just slightly tap it in there. You don't want to break off any chunks right here. So let's install it. Okay, the gasket's now in. Now we can bring up the downpipe and start putting in the flange. Okay, so what I had to do was take off two brackets that I'll show you right now on the back side of the exhaust so I can push back onto the downpipe. Now, when I lift it up, and we're going to be able to put the flange right on. I don't know, I think I can see it on the camera. I think you can see that the flange is in its slots. And now we just got to put the nuts on and compress the gasket. With the two new nuts, hopefully they go on easier since we weren't able to put on the new studs. Tighten those two 15 millimeters till it pretty much stops spinning. I didn't put any more torque on after that. And now I'm going to put my O2 sensors back in. Okay, after putting everything, all the grommets and the bolts that held in the exhaust, those are pretty straightforward. I double checked the tightness of the bolts. Everything seems good. Check the O2 sensors, those are on correctly, and let's go ahead and start it up. There you go. You don't hear any exhaust leaks anymore. It's completely different. And hopefully this video helps y'all, so you guys can knock it out yourself. I would suggest having a partner just to, when you have to put the downpipe on, it makes it a lot easier to finagle it so it sits correctly as you're putting in the flange nuts. So not required. You can use a jack like I was using at one point, but another pair of hands is nice. And also don't do it when it's freaking raining and downpouring, hence the tarp or the canopy. But anyways, hopefully this video helped y'all. Y'all have a good one.